And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am a conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, a liberal. Our goal is simple: create a space where people from all political affiliations can have a civil conversation and find solutions to the problems that we face together. Topics of the day. First, Trump adds a 50% tariff on Canadian products. A man is caught on video setting fires in Windsor. A Lindsay man is arrested and is facing aggravated assault charges for fighting an intruder. Walmart is calling back radioactive shrimps. And yeah, you saw that one.
So ridiculous.
And Canada is planning a new gun buyback program that will be implemented by the end of 2026. Get your comments ready because the show starts now. What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother? Don't eat the shrimp. Wake up with an extra arm.
Yeah. That's why I want to talk about it, because it's just ridiculous. I'm like, radioactive shrimp?
Yeah, how did this even happen?
I just thought it was funny. Like, at the end of the day, I don't eat shrimp, so I don't really care. But
I think that's how Godzilla got started. Radioactive.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of other things a couple of other stories that are developing that I might talk about. I think I forgot to put them in my things. I was sure I did it in my list because I don't know if you saw, but there's a new virus out of China.
Oh, of course.
There's a new virus.
Right on time. What is it?
China. I'm gonna find it right now. I wanted to talk about it, but it's not on my list for some reason, so I completely forgot to add it. But they are starting to put lockdowns in China, similar to what they did during COVID. So
yeah,
it's just a coincidence. The fact that the last one came from China and this one seems like it's
you'll be racist if you suggest it might be might be a lab leak. Definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, I don't even know if they need to lie about it anymore.
I mean,
there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. I'm looking at my list. I'm like, I did not go down. Like, I don't know if you saw, there's 5 Canadian soldiers that were suspended after a video emerged of them doing Nazi salutes. This is one I wanted to talk about. Ozempic. I want to find a doctor. So anybody out there, Sylvie, we can see you. We can see your test.
Yep.
For anybody out there that's listening to this, even if you're not watching it live, send me an email at the bottom. It's written right there. There's an actual mistake in the banner. Let me fix that while I think about it. So there's a story out of Canada for Ozempic. So it turns out that Ozempic has been approved in Canada to reduce kidney decline and type 2 diabetes. Yet, Ozempic is facing a $2 billion suit in the US for growing problems, especially when it comes to digestion. So, remember how Dr. Watley and Dr. Wilburn were talking on the show how drugs like that are becoming covered by Canadian healthcare, and you know that if it's approved to reduce kidney decline in type 2 diabetes, there you go.
That means that people that
a whole lot of fatties with kidney decline and type 2 diabetes. Just so you guys know, that's normally the one you inflict on yourself. It is not something that
manageable, I believe, with
type 2 diabetes is 100% diet, and type 1, different story. You're not producing insulin, so it's a problem for your system. You need to inject some. But type 2 is you're producing insulin, but you have so much sugar normally in your blood that your body doesn't use it. So
Yes. Yeah.
very,
So
very different stories. I hope we have time. I had forgotten, man. There's so many things going on. I'll add the one for the new virus out of China, because you know me, I know where
oh
this is.
yeah. I know where I know where
The
you're going
fact
with
that
this.
they're talking about it already. So
Well, I mean, that's how
you,
COVID
you don't
started.
remember it was about
Stories
it
out of
was
China.
related to how do you call it, mosquitoes. Do you not remember that there was like 1,000 cases a few weeks ago? Now they're
Wait,
on lockdowns.
really?
2
I mean,
weeks to
and
flatten the curve.
yeah, and the Chinese lockdowns, like they were even worse than the ones here. They were bad because I mean, China's obviously an authoritarian government and they do whatever they want. But yeah, I don't know. I mean that's how COVID started, right? It was stories out of China. It was a couple stories about some weird virus,
Lab
and no
leaks.
one,
Lab
yeah,
leaks.
and I don't think anyone paid attention to it until Tom Hanks got it.
Oh
that seems like
Jesus.
that seemed like the oh shit the then they shut down everything. Close down
Yeah.
society. Tom Hanks got it.
Oh boy, that is one guy I cannot stand.
Yeah, he seems to have gotten he gets dragged in the right wing
That's because he
discourse,
was
right?
very good friend with Epstein.
Was
Have
he?
you never seen? Oh yeah. Have you never seen the video of the English comedian? I think it was at the Oscar. He's the original guy that did The
Oh, Gervais,
Office.
Ricky Gervais.
Gervais, love his comedy. That guy
Yeah,
is
he's a really
freaking
funny guy.
hilarious.
Yep.
And he hosted the Oscar a few years
Oscars. Yep.
back,
He did a good
and he
job.
starts calling out people. He looks directly at Tom Hanks and he's like, if you're gonna accept your little prize, just shut the fuck up
Yeah,
about
don't
your
don't talk
political
about politics.
opinions. We
Yeah.
don't care. And he starts rubbing. We all know that you guys are good friends with Epstein, and you see Tom Hanks is just like, reactions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just not a fan. He's done a lot of good movies though, but
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But do you remember the movie where a Castaway? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you remember the volleyball?
Wilson. Yeah.
So Wilson, have you ever investigated what the face is?
No.
You should look into it. I can't talk about it on here,
Okay.
but just go down the rabbit hole of what Wilson's face represent. It's fucked.
Yeah,
It is really fucked up.
I mean, I'll take a look for sure. I think, like I've said countless times here, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the conspiracy theorists have been right enough that I'll never just dismiss them, and I'll look into it. I always felt like the Tom Hanks one was kind of just some right wing rabbit holes, but yeah, I'll take a look.
I mean, it's the same thing as Trump got taken picture with him, same as Trudeau was on the flight. The political party doesn't matter to those things, right? They all know the same people. Now, are they in bed going to his island? We'll never know. They'll never expose that. But they all know each other, no matter the political party. Let's
just the celebrity billionaires club. Yes, they are. They are. In it. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of times these people do hang out with each other, right? Like, and I don't know. It's like the whole like the Me Too thing when what's the guy there? The producer that's in jail now.
Harvey. Harvey. Weinstein. They're two brothers. Weinstein. Weinstein.
Yeah. It was kind of like every time someone took a picture of him, they're like, oh, like as if like they know everything that the guy does just because they got a picture of him, which I never really bought into that. But yeah, as Sylvie says, Hanks and his wife were one of the first to declare they had COVID. Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier.
This one, Bumpy saying, so guilt by association, easy to think the worst of people we never met. At the end of the day, bro, you're never going to convince me that they didn't know. We've talked about this before. It's like you telling me that a Hollywood celebrity didn't know what Pete Diddy was doing behind closed doors. They all fucking knew. They just some chose to go, like, what's his name? LeBron James chose to go and even bragged about it on camera. And then you have guys like Denzel Washington that said that he stayed away from his parties. So they all know.
Well, sure.
They knew what was going on there. So guilt by association, like I've said this before, if you committed a crime and I know and I don't talk about it and it's later found out that I didn't know, I'm in trouble. Like sure. I can, the law can come after me, but it doesn't apply to them, right? That's the point. Again,
you got
there's a massive difference.
Yeah, I agree. But you got to admit that like there's enough if all the associations Trump has with Epstein that he largely gets a pass from many on the right.
Oh,
not
everyone, but many. 1,000,000%.
If that were someone else, they would take that as hard proof, right? So,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's one of those things. I don't care who you are. If you had business, if you did something wrong, I don't care who you are. You need to be exposed.
Yep.
I don't care about the political system. I don't care that it would destroy your political system. If you've done something, it's proven to be right. I don't care who you are. You could be my biggest hero. You deserve punishment for your crimes. I don't care who you are.
Yep. Can't. No, I mean,
so
disagree with that.
Bumpy.
No, I think Bumpy would agree with that.
Let's hold on. Just let me see the last one he's saying here. You're talking about suspecting something, meaning you know something. Man, if you dig hard enough, you know that they know. There's so many people, even a guy that I absolutely love, Denzel Washington, has hinted to the fact that he knew. There's so many videos out there. What's the little black guy? He's super short, but he's super popular, like the comedian. Like he's like 5'4". He's super annoying. Like he always yaps all the time. What's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Even in one of his videos, I think it was Mark Wahlberg that was talking about something, and he's just like, shut up. Is it a joke? Is it not a joke? Is it? Ugh. So those thing has been going on. What was the name of the kid from the Goonies? He's been talking about no, but he's been
Feldman.
He's been talking about that for 20 years.
Yep.
Same thing with a singer from Linkin Park that committed suicide a few years ago. Same thing. He was talking about that too. So it's known. So at the end of the day, have they abused? Have they taken advantage of this? Did they just know? They all aware. Let's not lie to each other to know to believe that they're all innocent. They're not. But there's a massive difference between going to the island and knowing about it and avoiding it, right?
Honestly, like, so not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but do you guys, like people say on the right wing or the conspiracy circuit, is Diddy placed on the same level as Epstein? Because as far as I know, the only thing Diddy's been accused of is like, I mean, all these freak offs. He's a degenerate for sure, but I'm pretty sure everyone involved was consenting, were they not?
No. Well,
I mean, unless you want to talk about Justin Bieber or something, and then that I'll buy that.
There's a lot of cases that were exposed, like Bieber being the perfect example. Perfect example of this. So he's not getting charged with any of it. He's getting away with nothing pretty much. Yet the conspiracies, whatever you want to call them, if you want to call them conspiracies, that's fine. But there's a lot of us. There was a lot of allegations, a la Justin Bieber.
Well,
but those are all disappearing. It's man.
I think with Bieber, like he's never made an allegation. I think people are connecting the dots.
No, he has. No, 100%. No, he did. Just listen to his new album. He talks about it. He hints at it very clearly. Yeah. So again, like I can see Bumpy is going crazy and he doesn't like that I'm talking against celebrities for some reason, but most of them are degenerates. Let's be honest here.
No, for sure.
Most artists are complete degenerates, and they take advantage of their celebrity status to do shit that you and I cannot.
That's what
cannot get away with.
They get enabled by everyone around them. I don't think like every artist is a degenerate. It's the ones that are degenerates are able to get away with the shit that they do. And get
that type of money enables you. That type of power, that type of celebrity status enables you. It does. I don't think it turns you into something that you're not.
No.
It just enables you.
It brings it out
to be who you are with no excuses. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do that.
So let's start with the first one. Trump announces 50% tariff on certain Canadian products like steel, for example, which it's not like we have a lot of steel products or anything, but yeah.
Hundreds of everyday household items are about to get a lot more expensive thanks to President Trump's trade war and specifically the steel and aluminum tariffs. The tariffs were initially only expected to hit raw materials, but now they include goods containing steel and aluminum. CNN's Matt Egan has this for us. What is going on? What are we expecting?
Well, Kate, this is a big deal, right? Even as inflation is heating up, the Trump administration is quietly making it even more expensive to import hundreds of items that all of us would see on store shelves. So this is a major expansion of those 50% steel and aluminum tariffs. Previously, those tariffs shielded items that just simply contained steel and aluminum. Not anymore. Starting this week, those 50% tariffs apply to the steel and aluminum content on many items, right? This impacts more than 400 product categories, right? And some of these are household items, right? Everything from butter knives and baby strollers to even canned deodorant, furniture as well. A whole bunch of
I'm sorry, but they're trying so hard. Butter knives, not butter knives.
No,
he couldn't even. He couldn't even look at the list. Butter knife, baby strollers, spray deodorant. Is there people that still use spray deodorant out there? I've never used it, so maybe I completely wrong on this one.
There still are, but yeah, it's I don't know. They're clearly trying to make it sort of an anti-Trump thing. I don't know. It's certainly bad for us. Certainly bad for Canada.
Yeah,
I think the jury's still out what the effects are. But it's far too simplistic to say tariffs are bad for America because Americans pay the cost. I don't know how many they've already raised, a few $100 billion. Their economy doesn't seem to be suffering yet. Of course, oftentimes economic things happen months after the actual policy decision. So yeah, it still could hit on some level, but I don't think. I mean, I think it's far worse for us here in Canada than it is for America. Are these tariffs just on Canada or is it everybody?
As far as I know, what I'm talking about right now is just on Canada. But let's finish the video. We're a minute in from a 3-minute video, but I just wanted to stop it there because butter knife is the first thing they talk about.
Butter knives. Oh.
Household items impacted and some industrial items too. Look at this: cranes, bulldozers, wind turbines, rail cars. It's hard to see how expanding the tariffs to those items is going to help achieve some key Trump administration goals, like making it more affordable to buy homes and build homes, right? Or to get American energy dominance. But the Trump administration says they're doing this really for two reasons. One, to try to crack down on people who are trying to circumvent existing tariffs. And the other reason here is they say they're trying to revive the steel and aluminum industries. But analysts, they do warn that this is just going to add even more inflationary pressure at a time that, yes, we are seeing inflation heat up, especially at the wholesale item level. And we're also seeing that people are very much frustrated with the cost of living. Now, the Trump administration has argued that foreign countries will eat the tariffs, right? They're going to slash their prices just to try to maintain market share in the U.S. But we're not seeing evidence of that. At all? It's not. What you would expect to see would be import prices, which are measured before tariffs, to come down. But look at this. We're seeing the exact opposite. In July, import prices went up by a larger than expected amount, suggesting that foreign countries are not eating the tariffs. That's why analysts are increasingly confident that it's really U.S. consumers that are shouldering the cost here, as well as businesses, right? Talked to Samuel Toombs over at Pantheon Economics, and he said foreigners are not paying for President Trump's tariffs. That leaves U.S. consumers and businesses shouldering nearly all of the additional costs. So look, if they're shouldering the costs, if you're looking at businesses, that might mean they're going to hire fewer workers, or they're going to possibly pass along the cost to all of us as consumers. Either way, there is a price.
That seems very clear. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
it's really important staying on top of this.
You definitely can tell the slant that they're adding there, right? it's all very negative slant. When again,
0.4%. That's what the increase on price of export is 0.4%. That's what we're all crying about. Is 0.4%. But at the end of the day, the reason I wanted to bring that up is not because of what it's doing to the US. I wanted to bring that up that Carney's still not addressing making a deal with the US. This is still, again, because that's what Trump is doing. There was a comment here saying that right here. Whoops, sorry, this one. It keeps on moving. Nope, not this one. This one here. So
yeah, okay, we got it.
No, hold on. So down and out Nashville, there's no doubt in my mind Trump is bringing Canada to their knees. 100%. I totally agree. And it's only possible because of 10 years of liberal policies. If we would have been more self-reliant, that wouldn't be the problem. But this is a massive wake-up call, as we've been saying for months now, to be more self-reliant, but we still need a deal in the meantime.
Yeah.
We still need a deal right now as we speak.
There has to be a deal. And I think some people are saying, well, it's not that big of a deal because something like 80% of our exports are covered under CUSMA anyways, which is the existing free trade agreement that replaced NAFTA. And that's true to some extent. But I believe next summer they're renegotiating that. So, I mean, for whatever negative effects of the tariffs now is only on that 20%. I mean, think how bad it's going to be if he just says, okay, all Canadian goods are subject to whatever tariff regime he has on at the time. So we need a deal. There has to be a deal. Most other countries, major trading partners, have got a deal with the United States. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I'm just looking because I know it's next year in 2026. There's a review process in 2026 for CUSMA, but they're not. They're just saying
a review process.
Yeah, that's what it seems.
I don't know
what
that means. I don't know if that means they can change it.
Hold on, if you let me read it, I'll tell you. The CUSMA is scheduled for a joint review in 2026, 6 years after its entry into 2020. This review, mandated by Article 34.7 of the agreement, will determine whether the three countries wish to extend the agreement for another 60-year term. If the countries do not agree to extend it, CUSMA will be terminated in 2036. So basically, the deal's still going to be there. It seems like, at least by what we're seeing. So the point of me talking about this and always bringing back the tariffs is not to say that I agree with Trump. It's just to say that Mark Carney needs to do something about it. Because any chance he gets, he's going to mess with us. He's going to mess with our economy. And you know that he's doing it on purpose. Why wouldn't he? If the roles were reversed and we had the chance to do that to them, you're telling me that we wouldn't do it? Of course we would. Like, don't give me this crap. Like, I don't believe it for a second.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump's going to do, or America's going to do what they think is right for America. We can't be mad about that. That's just how life is. No. It's a loser mentality to sit around and be angry that we're not getting, America's not looking out for Canada anymore. Like, okay,
it was never their job.
Yeah, it's not their job. Derek Sittler says this guy needs to go back to school about economics. Yeah, that's a pretty kind of one-sided look at tariffs. Like, he's talking about it could be inflationary. Yeah, it could be in theory, but if it increases GDP by increasing more people to buy domestically, then it will increase productivity and actually increase GDP, and that would offset any inflationary concerns. What was the other thing he said? I thought was kind of silly. He was talking about like you said, the 0.4% and the American consumer shoulders these costs and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, they do if they buy foreign, but the entire point of the tariffs is to incentivize people to buy domestically. So, regardless of whether if they shoulder the cost or not is irrelevant if far more people are actually now buying locally, or at least domestically. And even the Trump administration, they're upfront. They're trying to boost the American steel industry. And again, that's entirely their right to do so. It makes perfect sense why they would want to do that. Again, I think the tactics and strategy of using tariffs to do so, like I said, I think the jury's still out on that. But I don't know. I honestly, I got a feeling like it's going to end up being a pretty beneficial move for America.
I've seen a lot of economists out there saying that it was brilliant, that it will pay off in the long run. And I'm just looking right now. It says that in the second quarter of 2025, the U.S. real GDP increased at an annual rate of 3%. So if it continues the way that it is now, it grew in the first quarter to 0.7%. So quarterly, that's what they estimated at, which, remember, over the past 10 years, we grew of about 1%. So right now they're on track to outgrow us by 300% in 1 year, what we did in 10. So hate Trump or not, we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. We can argue that it's going to take more time to show.
Yep.
But we'll see at the end of the year. But they're on track to do better, 3 times better than we did in 2025 than we did over the past 10 years. So,
yeah. And you know, I think even if it does work for America, that doesn't mean it would work for other countries. Just slapping tariffs, like the reason it would work for America, if it does, is because they're the largest consumer nation in the world, and the vast majority of the products they consume are imported. So if it makes sense for them to try it this way. Now, if you're Canada, I don't think slapping a bunch of tariffs on other countries is going to increase our GDP. But you know, I think again, it's pretty typical of the media, the way they're framing it, like it's like an obviously bad move, like, oh, you know. And of course, the weasel words when they say economists say, well, yeah, but which economists? Like, I'm sure you can always find a couple economists to say anything you want, right? But they say it like it's a consensus, and you know there are many economists who, as you said, who will argue the opposite, that it's actually a good thing.
And the truth is normally where? Somewhere in the middle.
In the middle, yes, so, exactly.
Let me see here. I wanted to see. Let me. See that I like. Down and out Nashville saying my gas is $2.25 a gallon right outside of Nashville.
Yeah, they're talking about in the chat. They're talking about.
And I spent a lot of time in Nashville, where I stay during the winters, about an hour and a half outside of Nashville. And man, $2.25 a gallon is cheap. So you're probably looking at what, $2.70 to $2.80. Let's call it $3 Canadian. Let's call it $3 Canadian for a gallon.
Well, yeah,
that's almost 4 liters. So that's you and I spending 95 cents a liter. I tanked this morning at $1.60.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, and as Bumpy says, it's $1.30 in Niagara, Ontario, which is just over $4.90 a gallon, if you want to put it that way. So it's $2.25 a gallon in Nashville, and it's $4.90 a gallon, and that's Canadian. So you'd have to convert that to American. That's probably over $5 a gallon.
It's around,
and it's all taxes. It's all taxes.
Gas is one of those commodities that the government tax. You know, you have sales tax on top of gas tax on top of everything else. Like I think there's 3 different taxes in gas, and the last one being a sales tax. So you have tax over tax over. You're taxed on tax.
It's wild, absolutely wild.
Welcome to Canada, man.
You know, Indigenous people, they don't pay taxes when they show their cards.
Sales tax,
yeah. So on the gas, there's a reserve by my place, and I've got a few friends that are Indigenous, and when they go there, they just give their band number, and then they get, you know, they press a button and it gives them a discount or something. When you take away all the taxes, they'll pay. Like natives pay about, I think it's like 60 cents a liter, maybe 65 cents a liter or something.
What?
When you take
that's away less than half the price.
Yeah. It might be like 75, but it's well under $1. Like it's significant. It's a significant difference, and that's what the price of gas would be if we weren't paying all these taxes. You know, you've got the GST and the provincial sales tax, and then you've got a gas tax, and you've got a tax on the tax, and it's ridiculous. I mean, and then you have the carbon tax on top of it, and you know, yes, Mark Carney has slid it to 0 for now, but how long is that going to last?
Let me see here. Mark Carney said he's not sitting at the table. Then you're on the menu, or you're not on the menu.
You look at the picture the other day with all the Europeans and Trump. Where was Canada?
It was too far of a trip to actually go there. Sylvie, can you talk about the Give Send Go today? The reason I'm not talking about it, I'll be 100% transparent here, is because it's all set up, it's all done. I would really love to go. I just don't know that it's possible with a 7, 8, 9. He's going to be 10 weeks old baby. So is it because leaving for 3 days while he's still getting fed every 3 hours? Is it so? Yeah, I need to have a conversation with the wife to see if she's if it makes sense or not. And as much as I would like to go, at the end of the day, I'm not going to make it complicated on her. So that's why, Sylvie, I didn't bring it up.
That makes sense. And so
I'm trying not to be an asshole. I'm trying not to be.
Trying something new.
Zezing.
Sylvie, are you getting your friends to buy you on the reserve to buy you gas? One of them actually offered a couple years back. They said, you can use my band number. I'm like,
I was going to say, why don't you just, I'd use it. Screw this noise.
Well, I just feel like they wouldn't believe it. Like, look at you, bro. You're clearly not native. You're a white guy.
Have you seen most of the people that are on the news calling themselves natives? They're whiter than I am.
Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, but Jesus.
Yeah. Pocahontas.
Sylvie, it's to go to the We Unify. To go to the We Unify event that's taking place September 19th to 21st in Calgary, which I would love to go cover because it's going to be who's who of that sovereign movement. Plus, there's 40 different speakers, maybe more. They're going to be in attendance there, so I would have a chance to do a lot of what I call street interviews. Just show up with a wireless mic and start talking to people and just talk 5-10 minutes with those people. They always make for cool content. So I really want to push that independent media stuff. Being reporting on the scene is so yeah. That was the idea.
No, there'll be more opportunities for it.
What does it have to do? Because it's about $2,000 to go. That's why. So, because it's not cheap, right? So, yeah. Until we are, until we're racking the millions off this show, it's not cheap, right? That's a joke, obviously. But yeah, this is all at our expense, right?
Wise guy says, actually, Rob, the domestic carbon tax has actually been eliminated entirely now. It was announced on the Candace Malcolm show today, very recently. So is that confirmed? I mean, that would be great if it's confirmed. It would be if it is, it would have had to have been fairly recently because last I heard that was not necessarily the case.
But hold on, leave that on because it is a quite. You're saying the domestic, meaning the commercial one, still in place. So no matter what, we're still paying for a carbon tax. And if you look at Quebec, there's a carbon tax on the province level. So even they removed it, it still did not impact the gas. We still have one on the.
So what's gas where you are?
160. Give or take, 157, 158.
Crazy, man.
And that's outside of Montreal. That's outside of Montreal. So Montreal's even more expensive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, wise guy. The industrial is still there. And so at the end of the day, we're still paying for it. So I get you. I feel I understand. Oh yeah, it's just gonna disappear and be called something else. Just a tax. Let's take the second topic. This I found this to be just funny because obviously this is not real. What I'm going to show you is obviously a deep fake or all AI generated. But there was a man caught on tape in Windsor setting a fire near some train tracks. But that's probably the manifestation of climate change in a person. So this is not a man. This is climate change setting a fire next to train tracks in Windsor. And of course there's no sound because it's just a CCTV camera. But yeah, so you see the guy do what he does, and then you just need to look around here. There's going to be a little fire that starts.
Is he
so
did this actually start a wildfire or did this one not?
We don't know yet. We have no idea. It's. I'm just showing this because I'm tired of people not believing that there's arsonists out there. It seems like it's a conspiracy theory for me to say that there's arsonists and they're the ones responsible for setting our wildfires, not hikers in Lululemon pants walking their dogs. So
yeah,
that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a lot of arsonists out. Yeah, I was laughing at that too. Joseph Thomas says that's only a prop, talking about the guitar in the back. He's only trying to pick up chicks. Yeah, basically. No, I can play. I can play. I don't think probably as well as you, Joe, with that. It looks like you're shredding in that picture of yours. But I can pick a few tunes around the campfire. But yeah,
Joe, it's just enough. Do you know the douche that lives in California that goes to a random university sitting under a tree? Exactly. He's sitting under a tree and he's
playing
just
Wonderwall,
trying to pick up chicks. So that is Rob learned to play guitar to pick up chicks and dudes.
That's why most guys learn to play guitar, though, to be fair.
Is it?
I think so.
I learned to play guitar just because I enjoyed playing it. But
yeah, but you're gay.
I'm not very good. I pretty much suck.
You don't want to pick up chicks. So
no, I'd probably pick up fat chicks with my guitar skills.
Yeah, not the right kind.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's more arsonists. If people are now sort of just it's becoming some sort of social contagion, or it's just maybe being covered more. But I think we need to start looking at it differently, especially the ones that cause wildfires, especially ones that are designed to cause wildfires. I think they should be, I've heard talk that perhaps they should be terrorism charges. I'd be amenable to that, but certainly making it a much more serious crime than it is now. Nothing like 12 months probation or a slap on the wrist or anything like that. Because, they cause a lot of damage. They cause a lot of, financial, monetary damage, of course, emotional damage if your home gets burned. And I think the law needs to catch up and start treating it like this much more serious crime than it currently is. Right now, it's almost treated like mischief. You know what I mean? And I think or vandalism. It should be much more serious than that.
You just look again, perfect example, the 25-year-old firefighter out of Saskatchewan that got caught starting more than 25 fires on Bay Hills.
Yeah, and when you get a probation.
Oh no, you had a mental breakdown. No, it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's all you gotta say.
I'm gonna give you, yep, 100%.
I'm autistic, or my mental health is bad, and so yeah, that's all you gotta say.
So house arrest and community service. No, not even house arrest. It was probation, like 18 months of probation with like 200 hours of community service.
That story came out around the same time that Jeff Evely got a $25,000 fine for literally stepping into the woods because his shoes might theoretically cause some sort of a fire. Meanwhile, people lighting actual fires get a slap on the wrist.
Before we change the subject, I was listening to the radio coming back from the gym this morning, and even the left, because the word Zelenskyy right now is trending on X, so I just clicked on it to see what's going on.
Yep.
But even this morning, leftists are starting to ask, where did that money come? Where did that money go? The $200+ billion that we gave you from just Canada and the US alone, just the two, you're looking at $196 billion, give or take, that was sent to them or promised to them. And even the super leftist radio host is like, where did that money go, Mr. Zelenskyy? And why hasn't been an election since 2019, Mr. Zelenskyy? So, something's going on when even the left is starting to question Zelenskyy.
Well, where do they think the money went? To the war? Like, come on, guys. Open your eyes. Maybe a fraction of it did, or maybe even as much as half did. But the other half, when you see Zelenskyy flying off to one of his mansions and ripping around in his $1 million supercars, that's where it went. And it's not just Zelenskyy, of course. Like when he's got a whole cadre of corrupt officials that need to be bribed, right? That's how you buy loyalty. in corrupt countries.
I just want to see. Let's watch this video because I don't know why this is trending right now. I'm trying to understand why Zelenskyy is trending. Maybe because of the visit from 2 days ago that they had at the White House. But why is it still trending right now? And this video has like 800,000 views.
All right, let's take a look.
So I haven't watched it, so I have no clue what it's about. But let's see.
Right now in D.C., we went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C. is safe. And you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine. He has a son who's a great golfer. He's on tour. And he came in 4th yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot. And he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way. No way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a
Zelensky's like, why am I here again?
No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2
He's wearing a
years,
suit, eh? It looks like he borrowed his little
going out
brother's
to
suit.
dinner, and the restaurants the last 2 days
Timu.
were busier than they've
Yeah,
been.
it's a
in long
Timu
time.
suit.
Thank you for the press.
He's so little.
He is a tiny man.
Little fella.
But it's the beginning. It's now. It was the worst place of everywhere. Like, just listen to the beginning. It's like
We have a thing going
worst
on right
place.
now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere.
that.
Like,
That's
there's nowhere.
look at Zelensky's face. However you agree with whatever, if you agree with what's going on with the war or not, the safest,
Probably-
the most unsafe place.
I'd say the
place that now
Donbass is
people-
probably a little more.
Look at his
unsafe.
face. Look at his face right there. It's starting to change. He's like, "Are you serious?"
Democrats are calling up and they're saying,
Yeah, go back to the beginning again.
But just look at his face change. Like
we have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up.
Look at his
Democrats
face.
are calling me up
Yeah,
and they're saying,
yeah.
sir, I
That's
want to
funny.
thank you.
Unsafe
My wife
place
and I
in
went
the
out
world.
to dinner
It's
last
the
night.
most dangerous place.
he's done a good job to not laugh. If I was sitting next to Trump and I heard that, I would have started laughing my ass off because, brother, just look south. Just look. There's so many countries in South America, like just Mexico. Like you think that Washington, D.C. is not worse than just outside the border of Texas and Mexico?
Juarez.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at Juarez, yeah, sure. They hang people there in the middle of the street to send a message. I don't remember seeing that in Washington, D.C. And I've been to Washington a few times. Listen, there's a difference. I've been just outside of Juarez, like on the side of El Paso. That's just on the other side of Juarez. You can see from afar, and you're like, yeah, this ain't Washington, D.C., bro. Like the most dangerous place. Like,
No,
come on, man. Like,
it's
come
not
on.
bad. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that, like, he's just a massive exaggerator, and people will take that and then just dismiss everything else he says, and that's not necessarily smart either.
But it's just he could so easily avoid saying those things.
I know.
Like you could simply say Washington, D.C. just a year ago was very dangerous. It took me 4 years to make it safe. 4 days to make it safer.
Most dangerous
Done.
place in the world. The most dangerous place. Fucking guy.
But you're absolutely right. It's the type of thing that you definitely don't need to say, especially not like that.
No. And it just because it gives ammunition to people who do say, like, you can't, everything he says is nonsense. It's bullshit. Because, or where they say this guy's a clown. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I think that's a fatal miscalculation to think that Trump's just some moron clown who does, like, he's definitely, there are some things that he's not particularly smart about. But there are definitely some things that he understands media. He's a genius when it comes to getting to work in the media
attention.
Yep. it's down and out Nashville says, yeah, Trump's a narcissist. Yeah, undoubtedly he is. But compared to the rest of Washington, like, they all are really. At least he doesn't hide behind a fake smile and focus group. And I think that's part of the appeal. Like, he's a windbag. Yeah, but like, he's just being himself. And I think most people understand that probably all politicians are actually like that. And so you're not going to be able to get away from a narcissistic politician or an egotistical politician, but at least he doesn't pretend to be anything else. Like, you look at a Gavin Newsom type who's just like, he's made of plastic. Like, there's nothing real about him whatsoever. Reminds me of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, Christian Bale's character.
It took me forever to watch this video. I watched it like a month ago. What a terrible movie that is. Maybe it didn't age well.
What? American Psycho?
Yeah.
Oh, I like
it. I thought there would be. He doesn't even do anything. Like, it's all in his mind. He's just fucking crazy. The way it was portrayed to me, that dude went on a rampage and had like a fucking freezer in his apartment with body parts all over the place. He's just an idiot that is a narcissist that thinks about killing people. Well, man, if you think that was great, I got some cool movies for you, man.
I think it's meant to be ambiguous. I think the general consensus is some of those things he did. Like, I think it's thought that he did stab the homeless guy. He did not drop a chainsaw down the stairs and score a bullseye.
Yeah. Although it's Hollywood, everything's possible.
Yeah. But it was actually a pretty. I liked it as kind of probably one of the first sort of biting satires against what we might call like proto-wokeism. You remember like the scene when they're all eating at the fancy restaurant,
sure,
Dorsia or whatever, and Patrick Bateman, like, that he's just thinking about murdering people. Is like, now what's important is that we stopped the starvation in Africa and also global warming, and we need to figure out a two-state solution. Like all like the talking points of like proper society. What you're supposed to say, the nice things, and of course everyone would think, oh, what a socially conscious young man. But
as he's thinking about murdering people.
Yeah, he's just a psychopath, right? And I see it as that one, where that's how I see the movie, as a satire.
In that case, it makes sense. If that's how you look at it, it totally makes sense. It's just that I never watched it. I didn't watch it 20 years ago when it came out. So I've been hearing about it years after years after years, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, they did the Bateman Hotel or whatever the series was, and it was kind of a extension of that movie. But that dude is a serial killer. Like, literally, his mother is trying to make sure he doesn't go to prison. He's a psycho. Yeah. That dude is killing people, and the mother's trying to save his ass every week. Like, that's pretty much. So
and then he ends up killing his mother. I really like that series. But yeah, I think American Psycho works better as a critique of that sort of like proto-wokeism,
maybe I need to rewatch it from that angle.
With that angle,
I'll rewatch it from just to say, well, if you tell me that it's about, if you say that it's about making fun of the woke, that's a mindset I can have I can easily put
you can get behind that. You can get behind that.
Yes, sir, I can.
He says all the right things, right? He says all the things that good people say, and he supports all the right causes, and then deep down he's just a psychopath. And then he says Psycho from 1960 is the best one. I think that's Hitchcock, is it not?
Hitchcock was way before his time.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that was what most modern horror movies are just they riff off of basically the things that Alfred Hitchcock came up with.
So let's change the subject, because there's a bunch of stuff we can talk about. Here is this is the main story I wanted to talk about today, and I apologize for the listeners if I'm using a Rebel News video, but there's not a lot of people in mainstream media that are talking about this outside of writing articles. And what I'm talking about is the Lindsay man that was arrested and is now facing aggravated assault charges for fighting an intruder, somebody that entered his house illegally, a home invasion. Now he's facing aggravated assault, basically the similar charge as the guy that entered his house. So Here's Rebel News talking about it, and they're talking about obviously castle doctrine, castle law, which you and I both agree with. But here is Rebel News.
I have an emergency announcement for you. This morning, I saw a crazy news story that a homeowner in the town of Windsor, Ontario, was asleep at night at 3 a.m. and someone broke into his house. There was an altercation. Police came and they charged the homeowner with assault and other serious crimes. The homeowner who was defending himself. I couldn't believe it. I put out a tweet saying, if anyone knows this man, have him email me immediately and we will help him. Someone showed that email to him, that tweet to him, and he got in touch with me. And I just got off the phone with him. His name is Jeremy McDonald. And I'm not going to talk about the details that we spoke about, other than to say the person who broke into his home is a serial criminal, well known to police. It is astonishing to me that we do not have what's called the castle doctrine here. You break into someone's home, their home is their castle, and you do so at your own risk. For police to charge him is an upside down version of morality. We've got to help him. I talked to Jeremy, and here's what we agreed to do. Number one, we're setting up a website called castlelawnow.com. It's a petition to petition the government to strengthen our rights to self-defense in our own homes. Imagine someone breaking into your home and you're the one who's charged with assault for defending it. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a petition at castlelawnow.com. The second thing we're going to do, because we're called Rebel News, is we're going to report the hell out of this story. We're going out there right away to get the lay of the land. We're not going to put Jeremy in a pickle by having him say anything on the record before trial. We want to preserve all of his rights and we don't want to interfere, but we want to report on this and the bizarre police decision to charge him. We also want to show you the nature of the guy who home invaded his house. You know, a few weeks ago, Premier Doug Ford
Hold on, let me go back because this is important. I'm just going to make it bigger here. So a 41-year-old Lindsay man intruder was already wanted by the police at the time of the incident for unrelated offenses, and has since been additionally charged with possession of weapon for dangerous purpose, break, enter, and theft, mischief under 5,000, and failed to comply probation. So cream of the crop individual right there.
And possession of a weapon. So he had a weapon. He brings a weapon into the guy's house. The guy presumably does not have a weapon. I believe there is a weapons charge, which means he probably took it from the guy.
Or no, I believe it. I saw places not. That's a problem. People don't seem to be reporting in the same way everywhere. Because I read somewhere, because I know a lot of guys that are talking about this. I know a lot of people that are gun activists. So obviously they're talking about castle doctrine. But I saw a knife somewhere. And my understanding is that one of them had a knife. And I think that the owner went to his kitchen and grabbed one. That was my understanding. I might be completely misinformed here. And please, in the comment, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that is what I read somewhere. And that's where the aggravated assault are coming from. But let's just finish the video because let's see if he talks about it. But I have the original post that he used at the beginning from CBC. I have him on my on the next tab. So we'll look at it afterwards.
Okay. You know, a few weeks ago, Premier Doug Ford had his own property violated. Someone was trying to steal a vehicle right off of his land. Now, luckily for him, there was a police car there. He's the premier. But what about ordinary people who can't have a police car parked at their door every day?
4 thugs come racing down my street, masks on, ready to take the car out of the driveway. Surprise, surprise, at 12:30, the 2 police cars are there. The chase is on.
Boy, that's
so they chase him. One guy runs out, takes off. They capture him, and they catch these other guys. But just imagine all the unfortunate people that don't have security there at their house with masks on, and they had all the tools ready to break in and everything, you know. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to be back out. Why don't you guys come over for a barbecue tonight?
We have to deliver this petition to Doug Ford, the police force, the provincial government, and the federal government. I am sick of this crime.
Okay, blah, 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 blah. It's very hard for me to listen to this guy for too long.
What's the deal with this guy? Because I'm seeing in the comments, does he have a bad reputation or something? Is he
Ezra?
Not, yeah, I don't like. I
Ezra
know the
Levine.
name, but I don't know who he is though, or what
Oh,
the deal is.
Well, he's the guy that started Rebel News.
Okay.
It's like there's a few things that he's done that, like he's helped. Remember Derek Reimer? Rebel News has set up a fund for him, and they ended up paying most of the. I think it's 200 grand. If I remember correctly, that Derek Reimer said that he's paid. So they've done some good stuff. I just can't stand the way he talks. He's very over the top, but
very sensationalistic.
Sensationalistic, that's the term right there. He's just kind of annoying if you ask me, but there's hold on, I gotta share this. I just want to show, this is the original article from CBC that they were talking about yesterday. So, man charged after allegedly assaulting home intruder in Lindsay. How insane. Just the title is insane. They're literally making it sound like the homeowner did something wrong. Not intruder assaults homeowner with weapon. No. Man charged after allegedly assaulting a home intruder. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they're making it sound like the victim in here is the intruder.
That's wild, man. I don't.
This is where I was talking about. Police say the resident is facing charges for aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. So I heard the weapon, and that's allegedly what I'm talking about. But I heard that the weapon in question is a kitchen knife, which that would make sense.
Yeah. You break into my home, man, and I'm going to use whatever is in my disposal, and I'm going to keep going until you are incapacitated. Like, what do they not understand? This is one of those weird things where if you actually went out and polled real people, do you support some version of castle doctrine? The vast majority of people would support it, and why? So why don't we have it? You know what I mean? It's like the whole justice system has inverted who they care about. Why are you caring so much about the criminals who are breaking into people's homes? Like, yeah, I mean, if you've knocked the guy out and he's there and you've tied his hands, you can't go and slit his throat or something. I'm all for that. But in the heat of in the moment, it's like, it's so insane that the calculations they expect you to take, you're expected to, in a second, assess exactly the risk that this person's posed to you, and then only apply exactly equal amount of, and that's not how it works. Who wants a fair fight when your wife and kids are in the bedroom? And if you go down, there's nothing between you and them. I don't want a fair fight. I want an absolutely overwhelming advantage in that. And I'll use whatever it takes. It's such a nonsensical thing. And this is the kind of story that infuriates any right-thinking person. I don't care where you sit on the left or the right. Or on the political spectrum. But yes, I mean, there are a lot of insane lefties who think this is a good thing. They're so obsessed with protecting the feelings of everyone else but the people who matter. You know, if you're a criminal, well, we got to protect you. We got to protect your feelings. It's just a complete inversion of values. And that's frankly what my critique of the far left is right now, is just a complete inversion of values. They're valuing the things that should not be valued, and they are harming the things that should be valued. And it's infuriating, this kind of story.
Like, you just read here, and it's the same story. Remember the guy around Toronto too that had people try to steal his car, and he shot at them. If you look at all those self-defense / intruder / protection of your property, they always come up with the same narrative. So it's reported here, while people do have the right to defend themselves and their property if they believe they are facing a threat under Canadian law, those rights are not unlimited in Canada. That's a police officer. The law requires that any defensive action be proportionate to the threat faced.
Bullshit.
This means that while homeowners do have the right to protect themselves and their property, the use of force must be reasonable given the circumstances. I absolutely love how they think that in the heat of the moment
you're going to be able
ascertain this. I can tell you with 20 years of experience, I would not be able, or nor would I want to consider those things. If you're in my house, you were not invited. I do not know you. You, sir, are screwed.
Mm-hmm.
What I do to you is whatever is necessary to make sure that my family is safe. And if you step into my house uninvited, you, sir, have surrendered your life.
You have to assume the worst. You have to assume they're coming there to kill you. Whether they are or not is irrelevant. The fact is you are in my house. I have to assume the worst. And therefore, even under the wording of that law, if I genuinely believe or assume that you're here to kill me, then there's almost nothing I can do that would be not proportionate. You know what I mean? If I assume or expect the worst, and it's just like you said, anyone who says those things like, oh, the force must be exactly proportionate, has never been in any kind of a fight or any sort of dynamic situation like this. There simply is no making that assessment in any kind of real time. And because you're missing key information. Specifically, you don't know what the guy's intentions are. Are you supposed to sit down and interview him? Okay, what's your intentions here in my house? Are you planning to rape my wife and kill my kids, or just steal my things? You know what I mean? That no one. It's insane to expect anyone to do that in the heat of a moment, in a highly dynamic situation, a high risk situation. You know, it's like that. What's the guy who was on the subway? He got charged with murder.
Daniel Penny versus Neely. Yep.
Yes, that's right. Same thing. Like in the heat of the moment, he can't know exactly, how to. Like he clearly did not try to kill that guy, but the guy, through his own fault, through his own decisions, found himself in a situation that was highly dynamic, highly unpredictable on both ends. And Daniel Penny applied what I believe was proportionate force to the situation. And the guy happened to die because he was, a junkie and cracked out, and his body was probably on the way out anyways. But it's the same mindset. And it's this sort of insane, far left woke logic that is seeping its way into all of our institutions. It's infecting our law. It's infecting policy. It's infecting the way people think. And I've said before, I always kind of laughed when Elon Musk said, woke mind virus, but I thought it was kind of a cringy, silly term to use. But when you really think about it, it's a pretty excellent description to describe this phenomenon of, what we're talking about here. All right, we'll take a couple comments here.
Before you do, actually, just let me show you this here, because I just found a comment by Doug Ford. So basically, CTV News reports that Doug Ford commented on the incident, saying that people should be able to protect themselves in their own home. Something is broken. You should be able to protect your family, and someone's going in there to harm you, your family, and your kids. You should use all resource you possibly can to protect your family, and maybe these criminals will think twice about breaking into someone's home. That's
the right thing. That's the right
word. But he's so full of shit because he supports Carney, and as we're going to talk in the next story, Carney's government is putting a gun buyback program. So that there is more banning of firearms that are coming. So the thing is this drives me nuts about politicians. They say something on one side to address the story like they're a conservative, but remember the video I showed you yesterday from Doug Ford saying that he's not going to sit down with Pierre Poilievre, and he said the message he had for Pierre Poilievre is do what Carney says because it's better for Canada. Like, bro, like, no, you can't play both sides like that and expect us to take you seriously. You can't tell me on one side that you need to have all the rights that you possibly can have in order to defend yourself and your family, and then turn around and say, I support what Mark Carney does. Well, his government and the liberal government prior to him have banned like 2,000 fucking firearms. Like, I'll go over the numbers afterwards, but that drives me absolutely nuts. Like, I don't understand how they can flip-flop like that, and people,
and also to say those things as if you're just some guy in a coffee shop complaining, instead of the freaking premier of Ontario, where you actually can do something about it. Like, it's not, it's like, you know, it's like the guy throwing his hands up. Oh, only something can be done, but something can be done. A law could be passed. Castle doctrine law is pretty well established certainly in some states. So just basically copy paste what they've got over there, maybe adjust it to Canadian law or whatever, and and Bob's your uncle.
See, this is interesting because you're right that in certain states, most states in the US have some type of castle law, some type. But I'd be curious to know if castle doctrine could be implemented on a provincial level, because obviously on the federal level it ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
But I would be very curious to see if a provincial government could say Alberta.
That would actually, I'd love to have like a lawyer or something, because I don't know enough about the specifics. I have some vague understanding that the states have more power than the provinces do in general. That is, the states are often able to, pass laws on their own that will stand in a way that the provinces can't necessarily do up here in Canada. But I don't know about this specific issue. It seems like it would be easy enough to now, I guess, because the Canadian code of criminal code is federal legislation, you probably couldn't write a piece of legislation at the provincial level that would override that. But I don't know. I also don't know if the criminal code of Canada even says these things, or if this is just how the law is applied. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. It would be interesting if we had
if only I knew an organization of lawyers that I could contact to see if they know someone. I'm already writing an email right now as I'm saying it. I'm like, why don't we? Could it be done on a provincial level? Because you have no excuses now. Dougie Ford would have no excuse if he's capable of doing it on the provincial level. You could do it.
And even if it wouldn't be, say, legal or it would get overturned later, you still do it anyways, because it starts the conversation, right? Like, make them defend themselves, make them, be out there and publicly say, no, you can't do this, because this is one of those things that the vast majority of people, if you actually just ask them, should you have the right to defend yourself in an unlimited way if someone breaks into your house? Because that's the thing that really gets me, right? It's not like there's some ambiguity, like there's a fight walking downtown on the street and one guy says he was attacked, but you don't really know. Like, just the fact that the intruder is in that house tells you everything you need to know. He made a decision. He made a decision to go into your house. If as far as I'm concerned, once you decide that, if someone gets arrested for breaking and entering, I don't think they should get the death penalty of the government. But that said, if in the act of breaking in, the guy defending himself,
they face the death penalty,
kills you. If he kills you, then that is just an unfortunate consequence of your own actions.
So what do you guys think, the people in the comment section? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, because mine are very clear. If you're in my house, you have surrendered your life. So whatever I feel is the need, whatever the need is, whatever I feel is appropriate in the moment, those are the consequences that you're going to pay, and I'll pay consequences later on. I'll deal with the consequences later on. But I've said this to my wife. Like, my wife has told me this before. One of the reasons she's with me is that she knows my background. She expects me to do those things. So it's not just a man thing. My wife expects me to take a bullet for her, for my kid, and no questions about it. If you enter my house, I in Canada, I'm not allowed to have guns outside of a safe. But what I sleep next to will chop you in pieces if I chose to use it, just so you know. I'm a big fan of knives, bro, and I have a very sharp dagger, double-edged dagger that I've trained with that will rip yours. If I do this, boop, you're lacking fingers. Like, that shit is, and I don't care. At the end of the day, I hope I never have to use it. But if it ever goes down the route, I know how to use that. I've trained with it. It's mine. It's next to it's literally right there, right next to my cell phone. And I'm not going to be worried to use it.
No, you can't be. Like, and you
No.
know, like you said, the vast majority of women out there expect their husbands and boyfriends to think that way and to defend them if something like that comes up. You know, and you just can't take that risk. Like this idea, like, oh, you don't know what were his intentions. Well, first of all,
I don't care.
Even if his intentions are just to rob me, like, you know, screw that. I'm trying not to swear here because we're trying to get away with it. Like, you know, screw that. Like, you've made this decision. This isn't like this isn't like something that a situation that you found yourself in. You decided to come into my home.
Yeah.
And you have forfeited any right to bodily safety at that point, especially, you know, your wife and kids are there and you don't know it. Because if this guy gets the drop on you and he overpowers you, then yeah, of course you don't want to be hurt. You have the right to defend yourself as well. But now there's nothing standing between this guy and your wife and your kids. And just all of these factors involved makes the expectation that you're going to sit there and do some complicated calculation about, okay, how much force does he have? What are his intentions? Because I have to make sure it's exactly proportional. And like, that's nonsense. That's not how real life works. You know, as Logan White says, why are our rights to self-defense limited? They should never be.
You know what? This is one of the things that, to me, this is a God-given right. The government has no say in what I'm going to do in the heat of the moment. They can do what they did to this guy. They can arrest me. They can put me in prison. They can judge me. At the end of the day, it is a natural right. This is a God-given right. I don't give a flying poop of what the government says when it comes to this, because I will defend my family. No questions about it. This is I don't even understand how this is a topic for conversation. I don't know why we have to talk about this.
It's wild that you know, this again, that we don't. Now maybe the word castle doctrine has some, you know, political connotations that some, you know, retarded lefties would be like, oh, I don't like that. But if you just described, like, should people have the right to defend themselves in their own home? The vast majority of people, like 80 or 90%, would say yes, of course they should. So yeah,
again, I don't understand how that's a question. It always blows my mind how we have to have a conversation about this, how people can disagree with this, how people are not all on the same page, and more especially women. I never understand how women are not for self-defense. I don't understand how women are not for the Second Amendment in the US. Like my buddy the guy that introduced me to firearms more than a decade ago used to always mess with me because I used to fight back then. So I was in fighting shape, training 10 times a week. And he always laughed at me because he's a low fatty, like he's a little overweight guy. And he's like, you know what, man? This is the great equalizer. And he has a massive amount of firearms. We're talking 200 to 300. And he's just like, bro, greatest equalizer ever. And I taught martial arts self-defense to women. It is the greatest equalizer. If you don't know how to fight, but you know how to use a firearm and you're allowed to carry, bro, you don't have to worry about guys going after you. You can literally defend yourself.
Yep. No, absolutely. You know, as Griffin says, this is why the cops are telling people in Toronto are to leave their keys by the door, because if you protect yourself, they would arrest. That was so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. And again, even like, you know, we're talking about self-defense against bodily harm, and that's obvious. That should be an unlimited right. But it's still, we still can't just be expected to allow criminals to walk into our house and help themselves to our shit. You know, just that's ridiculous too. Like the whole thing has to be reworked. I did want to. So Griffin says is based on sections 34 and 35 of the Criminal Code, which establish a person is not criminally liable for using force, including lethal force, in self-defense or defense property. So then, if that's the case, I mean, that sounds kind of like some sort of castle doctrine. And why would this person be charged?
The issue with what you're saying, bro, and I'm not arguing that on section 34 and 35 of the Criminal Code, but I used to train a prosecutor out of Oakville Ontario, just outside of Toronto. He used to be one of my clients, and we used to train together. Well, I used to train him, and I had that conversation with him, as in, what are the self-defense laws in Canada? Castle doctrine. What can I do if somebody invades my house? And as you're mentioning, there's no restriction per se to say that you're not allowed to do it, because just like the excerpt that I read earlier from Robertson, the chief of police,
you're allowed.
It all has to do with proportional force.
Yes.
And unfortunately, what the prosecutor told me is that you are at the mercy of the judge. It's such a big gray area. It's not like, let's say, in Alabama, where you're like, the guy was on your property, wanted to attack you, you shot him. Where's the body? Right? No problem.
Yeah.
Where's the body? We'll deal with it.
We'll come pick it up.
Here is literally, you are going to face the consequences. You're going to go to court, and you're at the mercy of the judge, which that in itself is extremely problematic, because I guarantee you that if I show up to court, I'm screwed. I'm absolutely screwed, especially that I have a background in martial arts. You know what they say, right? I should have a higher amount of responsibility, just like you're ex-military. You're in trouble if you defend yourself in your house. You're in trouble because of your background. But that shouldn't be that. The thing is I want Castle doctrine is what was the guy invited or not?
Was that guy in your house?
Yeah. No, but was he invited or not? Because you don't. No. But you can't just say show up at my place at 3 o'clock.
Hey man, want to come over for a drink?
Yeah. So you need to make sure that the person was not invited, and if he's not invited, then whatever you had to do is fine. Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yep, I agree. It says, Griffin says, even in section 34, as to self-defense, you have to be in fear of your life. So yeah, you are able to defend yourself. But yeah, as Nico said, the proportional force is the kind of the sticking point, the loophole they use. And of course, that is not clear, right? Like that's, like you said, you're at the mercy of the judge, which if you get a judge who agrees with you, then yeah, you're probably fine. But you could get pretty deep in the weeds here, where let's say you both have a knife, but he has a 3-inch knife and you have a 5-inch knife. Technically,
are we still talking about knives here?
Yeah, that's right. You could probably, the judge might say, oh, well, you had a longer knife, so it wasn't proportional. I mean, that's, would be a kind of a ridiculous example, but all of this is ridiculous.
The whole point is that there shouldn't be a need for interpretation.
Yes.
Was he invited or not? No, you're fine. Go. Because right now, no matter what, like, I think it's you that said that the first time we were talking about, I think Bill C2, where the punishment, that the process is often the punishment. And this is the same thing. Like, there was a story from a few years ago where the guy wakes up in the middle of the night. There's a 17 and 19-year-old. It's somewhere down east, somewhere in your neck of the woods. I think it was in New Brunswick. Mm-hmm. And the guy wakes up. There's 2 dudes in his house. He takes the gun and starts shooting. He doesn't ask any questions. He starts shooting. The people go out. They go to the car and they leave, but he continued shooting. That was considered too much, as in he was still shooting when they were no longer a threat.
Yep.
In my opinion, I like Castle doctrine. If you're on my house, if you're on my property, you're mine.
I agree.
But the guy went to court and he was found non-guilty. But that was not an overnight thing.
No,
this guy was still arrested. The guy still faced justice.
Would have went for years. How much would he have paid?
It went on exactly. So you have to go through the process, and this is not right. There shouldn't be a process. It should be: was he invited? No. High five. Go home. Where's the body?
Yeah. This is a good point here. Griffin says we have to talk about it because many people assume that you can self-defense on your own. No. Yeah, and that has that kind of exposes this whole idea of proportional force. Because if we're just talking about, but according to the law, if that guy does not have a weapon and you have a knife or a bat, that's not proportional. But what if the guy is 6'8" and 350 pounds and you're a 5'5" woman, right? Even if you both are not have weapons, it's not really proportional, right? Like, there's some huge problems with this idea of proportional force, not least of which the assumption that you're even going to be able to make that calculation in what is often split seconds in a highly stressful environment.
And like I said earlier, I'll never understand why women are not outraged by this, because they are the one that are facing the biggest threat.
It's the women who
When
haven't been, who have just through good luck have not had to experience this or anything, right? They've never been attacked or they've never been home invaded. Because
that's a very big difference between here and the US.
Yeah,
very big difference. But at the same time, man, when I've said this before, but an armed society is a polite society. So if you have a bunch of people, I wouldn't go to other, like I've joked about this, like somebody inviting me to their place. Let's say like somebody I meet in church, for example, in Alabama, saying, hey, you come to my place. I'm like, I'm not going to get shot, right? Because if you see me arrive after dark, I'm not going to get shot, right? Because everybody has guns over there. Like down south, this is a no-brainer to them. We're so messed up when it comes to, we should have Second Amendment. We should have something that sticks to the First Amendment. So yeah, and certainly, as Alberta says, castle law would surely make criminals think twice before entering a home without consent. That's correct, Robin. If you give people the right to defend themselves, it signals criminals tread at your own rest. You take that away. Exactly. Like, yeah, of course, it's important to have a law like castle doctrine on the books, just in case you ever find yourself in that situation. But even just if you never do, it still is important because it sends a message. It sends the right message, right? It makes people, right now, criminals, for the most part, probably feel untouchable in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? When you see a lot of these stories of people getting bailed out for committing pretty serious crimes and then going on to commit more crimes, no, they don't respect the law. And again, there was a comment here earlier, as further up, but it basically said this just encourages vigilantism, and that's exactly correct. If you don't believe the law is going to protect you, and you're not some pathetic little simp, you're going to take it into your own hands. You're going to protect yourself and your family. Do you remember the story out of Florida where the guy, the sheriff is like, this criminal, this reoffender was breaking and entering into houses, and at one point he got shot. He broke and entered many different houses, and he's just like, for whoever shot him, you're not in trouble. Please come see us. We will show you how to shoot properly. As in, we'll make sure next time you don't miss him. So it's like the guy got shot in one of the houses. They're not sure why, but the sheriff is literally saying on TV, "Don't worry, you're not in trouble. Come to our."
Sounds like
of course, it's where else. But he's like, "Come to our training sessions, on gun training sessions. We'll help you be a better shot." Like, I have to find the video is. We'll show you how to make sure that he doesn't get away.
Yeah. Wise guy. That is a good point. The government made bear spray and tasers illegal. If you ask me, they give you no choice but to use something illegal. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of both hands tied behind our back. They take away any less lethal options, and so you have to use something like a knife, because you don't have a bear spray beside you. You don't have a taser, so you have to use a knife in your kitchen or a gun if you're lucky enough to have one. Bear spray is legal, but not on humans. Yeah, so you can buy it for bears, but if that guy in the story,
it's so ridiculous.
Say you thought it was a bear. I thought it was a bear breaking.
I thought he was a bear. Sorry. I thought it was a bear.
I mean, to me, this is one of those take the jury trials every time, because if you take the judge trial, the judge has to go by the law whether he agrees with it or not. But a jury trial, you can probably convince people that this is.
Well, you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. No, you shouldn't have to.
There should be a castle doctrine, and the only question they ask you during the interview, or the only investigation that the police has to do, is were you invited or not? Yep. He was invited. Well, sir, you're in trouble. He wasn't invited. Well, there you go, sir. Go back home and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not difficult. Like the laws around castle doctrine are pretty simple. It'd be pretty easy to write. You probably do it on 2 pages. It's just it's shit like this that makes people think something's broken. The system is not working. The system's not working for me, because this is not how it's supposed to be.
Hold on. This one is interesting. Logan White is saying, why the fuck are our rights to self-defense so limited? They should never be. I agree with you 100%. Did you know, most Canadians don't know that, but do you know that Rob and I could fight? Like legally, we could say that we're both consensual. Like consensual. That is such a... hey, Rob, do you want to fight? But you could have two people agree to fight and fight. It's not a problem. It's not illegal to fight. I've been in that situation before. What you get in trouble for is for disturbing the peace. That's because you bothered other people. But technically, it's not illegal for you to fight, but you can't defend yourself in your house if there's an intruder. It's the dumbest thing. It makes zero sense. Zero sense. Yep.
Logan White, yeah. What if you're like me in a wheelchair and your attacker's a 200+ pound psychotic woman? Yeah, I mean, that's another. How does proportional force work into that? What if you're disabled? There's all kinds of reasons why proportional force is a nonsensical standard to use when you're talking about something as important as defending your home and your family.
I wish I had those videos handy, but great video of this bouncer getting attacked by this tiny woman. She's just smacking him in the face, and he doesn't even punch her. He just does that. He just pushes her out. She goes flying, knocks herself out by hitting the floor. Like, is that proportional? I think so. She slapped him, punched him. All he did is this. Boop. Just pushed her. So
yeah.
But go to court trying to explain that one. The bouncer looked like a big boy. Like 260, 280, and the woman was not a big one. Like, what's proportional force? Like, I saw a video at Walmart where this really big woman is attacking this guy for whatever reason, and she punches him, and then at one point he just says no, and he's half her size. He goes boop right on the chin, and she goes ba-boom.
Glass jaw.
I don't care how good your jaw is. If you get clipped perfectly, it doesn't take a lot of power. It's just really well placed with your chin up. Most people they stuck their chin up, so boop. But again, is that proportional force? We all know what would happen if that went to court. Obviously, the guy's in trouble.
Yeah. Bumpy says Pete Kill and Gerald Stanley are the cases that prove prosecutors will keep coming after you until they get you for defending you and your property. Do you know what that case is? Are you familiar with that?
No, I am not. But leave it there. Don't take it off. I'm going to check it right now. But I reached out to the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom. They got back to me already saying they're going to look if they ever had a lawyer of theirs work on this type of case, because that would be great. Because they want to talk about the cases that they have, right? They want to use that as a precedent to be able to speak about it.
Yep.
So it would be very interesting to have them on to talk about this. At least I'd love to have a lawyer to.
Yeah.
Not guilty verdict. Let me see this.
Yeah, Gerald Stanley. Bumpy says here it's the Gerald Stanley case.
Yeah, I think I have it here. It's non-guilty verdict for Peter Kill. Shows Canada's justice system still broken after Poochie, says Chief. Poochie? What the hell is Poochie? Boushie. Poochie.
So what's the rough facts of the case?
Well, I'm just reading it right now. So the fact Pete Quill is free after admitting he shot and killed a First Nations man is further proof that Canada's just... Oh, Jesus. I love how they say the name of the guy that killed someone, but the guy that probably attacked him is First Nation, so we won't say his name, but it's First Nation. So I would have to do more research on this to... Because I did not hear about this case. It was in 2016, so it was quite a... Bushi is the name of the name of the dude. So Bushi, a 22-year-old from Red Pheasant Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, was shot and killed in August 2016 by Gerald Stanley, a white farmer. Why does it matter that he's white?
I don't like. They would never say a black farmer, right? It's just...
Do those even exist?
Well,
just a joke.
Yeah,
just a joke.
It's just like that sort of subtle racism. I mean, it's
you think that's subtle? You think that's subtle? No, look at the second paragraph of what I'm of like. There you go. So this is what I just read right here. A jury with no visible indigenous juror.
Clearly pushing this idea. It's all about like, and then they wonder why there's so much racism around. Yeah, because you guys are creating it with this nonsense identity politics. You're injecting race into every aspect of society.
And that was 8 years ago, man. Like, this is not new. This is 2016.
Wow. Geez, yeah, that's so did he get away with it, or like, so what happened? He shot someone who was invading?
Again, I'm not, let me see.
First of all, I know I speak on behalf of millions of Canadians when
no, you don't.
Our hearts go out to Colton Boushie's family, his mom, Debbie, his friends, and the entire community.
Like he's
I'm not going to comment on the process that led us to this point today, but I am going to say we have come to this point as a country far too many times. Indigenous people across this country are angry, they're heartbroken, and I know Indigenous and non-Indigenous Canadians alike know that we have to do better.
We have to do better. Well, talk about saying a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, there's lots of really good conversations going in the comments.
Take them.
Slightly off topic. Dana Price says, Logan, if the U.S. tried to invade Canada, NATO would be up their asses so fast their head would spin. I just want to take that because, like, America is NATO. It's like 70% of NATO. NATO would not do anything. Because this was part of the conversation. I'm sort of following it. They're talking. There was I think Logan had said, he was talking about the people who, Canadians who think that we could repel an American invasion. Which I've met people like that. And as someone who was in the military, I was an infantry soldier here in Canada. We absolutely could not. It wouldn't even be close. Like it wouldn't even be. Now, I mean, could they subjugate us for a long period of time? No, probably. Like if we had some sort of, especially if we had weapons, some sort of guerrilla campaign that could happen. I've seen Daniel says here, by the way, those Americans you think can't be stopped because they own and carry guns. A band of Asian guerrillas in the jungles of Vietnam and Cambodia stopped them. Yes, definitely holding on to territory when there's an active insurgency or guerrilla activities is a very hard thing to do. You saw that in Iraq as well. But the actual initial fight, America would wipe our military out in like 12 hours. It wouldn't even be before they would have already targeted all of our ability to defend ourselves with Tomahawk cruise missiles.
But not only that, we don't have a lot of guns here.
Yeah, well, that's it. So we would be hard pressed to actually to launch some sort of insurgency in Iraq. There's a ton of guns and weapons and RPGs that they would have access to. We'd be pretty hard pressed to mount any sort of long-term sustainable insurgency because we don't have weapons. Because we all know the gun laws here in Canada. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the initial, American military versus ours, it would be like the initial war in Iraq, right? They wiped out the Iraqi military pretty quickly, pretty easily. But yeah, because I've met people who've said that, and I'm like, it's a wild take, man.
So just for perspective, last time I checked, it was something around 1.3 million active military members in the US.
60,000.
Of all, you're pretty bang on. We're at 68,000.
Yeah.
So we're literally 5% of the US.
Well, and
they're a lot better equipped than
and that assumes our equipment is the same, and it's not at all.
No.
Like our Air Force, we have like 100 CF-18 like F-18 fighters, which are like 50-year-old planes. They've got thousands of like F-22 Raptors, like stealth bombers. It's
it's
not even David and Goliath. Yeah,
just their drone capacity would destroy us.
Yeah. It wouldn't. It's not even the kind of thing you could be like, well, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, if you had like if you're trying to like, bet on some boxing match or some like really good boxer against a scrub, and you think maybe he gets a lucky hit. It's not even like that.
There's no puncher's chance.
Yeah, there's no puncher's chance. It's not
in a fight. You never know. Big swing, connect, it's done. In this case, you're getting raped.
Yeah,
we're gonna be hurting.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess people. I mean, the fact of the matter is, our military is designed to be attached to the U.S. military. We train with Americans all the time. The vast majority of equipment comes from there, and a lot of the equipment that we buy, like some of our fighter jets, have kill switches. They can just turn them off if they want to. They can turn the GPS system off. I think people don't realize that the GPS system, even to this day, is owned and operated by the U.S. military. They've made it free to the whole world, but they can, if they want to, just shut it off for over Canada if they want to. Of course, their military will have it, but I mean, how can we even mount a defense if we don't have GPS?
They got fully trained frontline forces. We got Fruit Loops.
Yeah, basically. I mean, and we were never.
The advantage of Canada, though, is that we have a lot of bigger people in our reserve, so we can use them as shields.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I think America's got us. They've got their own shields there. They've got a large number of shields.
Yeah, but they won't need them. Is my point. They can stay wherever they are. They have like 1.3 million active member of their military, of all the branches of the military. We got 68,000 on a good day.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen from recent videos, no disrespect to the Canadian vets, and I have a lot of friends that are, but the state of our military, when you tell me 68,000 active members, they're not in the highest of shapes. We're talking about a lot of purple hair people here.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we're not talking about the cream of the crop here.
No.
Not all of them. Obviously, there's some. Again, I got some friends in the JTF too.
Well, yeah, it's Sylvia was saying here, and no doubt, she says JTF2 is to be discarded. They're world class. They're at the level of training. I mean, I knew two guys that went from my unit there, and they were cream of the crop. They're at the level of Navy SEALs, possibly Delta Force, but I mean, it's still a small unit. Maybe 100 guys.
Oh no, they're not.
Maybe 50 guys. Plus, they're not designed for defense of a nation. They're like special operations, hostage retrieval. That kind of stuff.
Being dropped off in civilian clothes in Lebanon, for example.
Yeah.
They're up. Right? Not that I know what I'm talking about, but I got a friend of mine that will be the first one to tell you he's trained with Navy SEALs, and he's like, not even close. We don't have the same type of training. They don't have the resources to train them the way that the Navy SEALs are. And funny enough, if you look at the Navy SEALs, they're not even the highest trained military in the state. Like Delta Force. Yeah, way harder to become a Delta Force member than it is to become a Navy SEALs. Not that I'm saying that becoming a Navy SEALs is a joke. That is not what I'm saying.
JTF is modeled on the SEALs, so they're going to try to be. But yeah, like and they're a small unit. We might have 50 of them, maybe.
Are they that small? JTF too?
Yeah, they're just based out of Dwyer Hill in Ottawa, and it's just a small unit, maybe 100, but wouldn't be more than that. But I mean, how many hundreds of Navy SEALs there are, or however many Delta Force unit? Like, yeah, I mean, they're world-class soldiers, no doubt. But they're also not gonna, they're not gonna defend your country. That's not what they do. They're not gonna repel any invasion. And honestly, that, like, when you say it's like 1 million active, they wouldn't even need that many. They could take over Canada pretty easily with just a small portion of the military. They just do the cruise missile thing that would wipe out all our air defense. Then the stealth bombers come in and finish off. They'd probably get it before our planes even took off. And
they turn off our airplanes first.
Yeah, they just turn us off. Yeah, it'd be over before it started. That said, I think it's not going to happen. America is not going to invade Canada. That's not a reasonable scenario. I mean, I guess anything could happen. An asteroid could destroy the planet tomorrow. So yeah, anything could happen. But you're talking about something so unlikely, so unfathomable that it just, it's no point in even worrying about it. And if it does happen, we're fucked anyway. So no point in worrying about it. Yeah, as Nashville says, that's more likely. America's about to take over Canada with economics.
Yeah, they don't need to shoot a single shot. They don't need to fire a single shot. Sorry.
Yep.
Actually, they're saying that in the 90s there was just about just over 100 members of the JTF2.
Okay.
But right now they don't have exact numbers, but they estimate that it's between 600 to 750. So 600 to 750
Wow. Right,
active member.
Just Google how many Navy SEALs are.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, that's probably in the tens of thousands.
Oh no, I don't think it'd be that many, would it?
Oh yeah.
It says about 2,500, which is actually even that's more than I thought, to be honest. Because
I know at least 5 to 10 personally that they're not active anymore. Obviously, they're vets now.
Yeah.
But I only met one Delta Force guy.
Those guys are like super mysterious. I saw a couple in Afghanistan, but they've got an aura about them, right? There's a couple of them just kind of sitting in the corner, and everyone knows who they are, but yeah, they don't say it. Like, they're not allowed to say, but it's one of those things everyone knows. You know, when you say, "Oh, what unit you are," and they say, "I'm not allowed to say," then obviously you know.
I remember in Arizona, I know a guy. I don't know if he's a friend or somebody that I know. Like, we text every now and then. But when I was in Arizona, I was introduced to him. We played golf a few times, and he's ex-Delta, and he has no shame, right? We're on the fucking golf course. He needs to pee. He starts peeing. He goes next to a line of tree, and he just starts peeing. Turns out that this was in the back end of somebody's property. And the guy comes out and starts calling him names, saying that he's going to kick his ass. And I literally just pushed my buddy away. I'm like, okay, go. And I looked at the guy. I'm like, bro, I'm going to save your life right now. So shut up, turn around, get the fuck back in your house, because you don't know who you're dealing with here. And he has a very short fuse. The Delta Force guy. Eesh.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we're drinking. We're on the golf course. We're drinking. We're smoking cigars. It's like, he looked at me. He's like, thank you. Like, thanks for doing this, because he's a bit drunk, right?
Yeah,
so it's just that, man. Hey, bro, go back in your house, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
It's a personality type. Those guys, they're wired different. Sylvie says, "Can the death threats in the chat please stop?" Yeah, I mean, guys,
are there death threats? I'm doing research as we're talking.
It's getting pretty hot in there. You know,
who and who? It's Danielle Price and Bumpy.
And Bumpy was Bumpy and Joe earlier. Yeah, guys, come on. Like, obviously, debate and get spirited is fine, but we're not going to tell you guys how to talk in the chat, but try to keep that stuff.
No, but at the same time, this is the whole point where there's so many shows out there that they will welcome this type of attitude. There's no reasons to do that. You guys can disagree and be respectful. At the end of the day, there might be one of those subjects that's not worth talking about, because if you don't believe that the state would completely annihilate Canada, I don't know that I can really have a civil it's not like come on, 68,000 active member compared to 1.3, and their training's not the same, the resources are not the same, the budget they're nowhere close to being the same per military soldier, like per military head. So
you guys can if you want to make liberal use of the block button, you can do that too. If there's anyone if you just want to avoid fighting. But yeah, I mean, that's if you've been watching the show for a while, we're trying to get away from that kind of stuff. That's the rest of the internet. There's all kinds of, that's pretty much everywhere else on social media, on YouTube, on X to get involved in those kind of debates. So we are trying to do things a little bit different here. Why would you pay on someone's property? Yeah, why? Because he's no,
but do you guys not play golf? That just shows me you guys
sometimes
don't play golf.
Sometimes depending on the course, there's some
most golf course, there's houses around, and the golf course pretty much finishes where the property line starts, and he was just peeing where nobody could see his dick. Basically, that's what he was seeing, that's what he was doing, but clearly he was just hiding his dick from us, not from the people on the other side of that property. But it's not like there's a line on the floor that says, here is Jim's house and you can't cross here. A lot of those places don't have fences or anything between their property and the golf course. So it's just, he's peeing away from us, but it was close to a guy that was looking outside his window and saw his pee-pee, and he didn't like it. So,
well, I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
But come on, man. How many times have I had to stop on the side of the highway to pee? And I guarantee you somebody saw my dick at one point.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to flash people. I'm on the highway, I need to pee. I stop, I open the door, and I hope people don't look.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go. Joe says, Rob, we're self-policing ourselves. Yeah, that's cool, guys. You know, we don't want to.
No, you're not getting the joke, eh? Go back.
Wait.
We're self-policing yourselves.
Oh, self-police yourselves.
Well played, sir. Well played, sir.
That's one of our OG inside jokes here on the show from way back.
Yep, that was great. Good for you, man.
Robin,
it's funny you didn't get it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. Well, it's been so long since we kind of made that joke that
we haven't do that type of joke in a while.
Yeah, we do.
Well, it's on you. It's on you. We feed off of you, right? You're the one that likes to repeat the same thing twice in different words.
Department of Redundancy department over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, hey man, I agree with down out. Well, there you go. I agree with down out Nashville saying hit the thumbs up. Everyone help the show grow. Hit the thumbs down button too. To
hit
me,
one of them. Give us either thumb, guys. Yeah, that if you get your mind out of the gutter, you degenerate.
I didn't say anything, man.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about
one fist up. Give us a fist up.
Here, let's well, this connects. This is something I wanted to talk about yesterday, but we ran out of time. But considering what we're talking about right now, it makes sense.
Sure.
So it was reported by the CCFR. Was that yesterday on the 18th? Yep. No, 2 days ago, that Canada's buyback scheme is in the final stages of design and will be completed no later than the end of 2026. Safety Minister, I am not going to try to say his last name, said Monday, as he warned hesitant provinces and laws enforcement agencies it's their obligation to implement the law. So that was the top of the article. I actually found it because of how do you call it, the type of thing that you gave me, an archive website. So I was able, because it's a Toronto Star, screw those lefties, those woke lefties, I'm not paying for their membership. So I was able to find it, and sorry, I'm gonna share that properly here because I just want to show some of the stuff, because it was just a interview that they did with him. So I haven't seen this anywhere else, like in details, I mean. But so they're saying that by the end of the year, just like they were saying that no later than 2026, public minister is saying that we're going to have a buyback program. They talk numbers, obviously.
Let me ask you something, because I'm not really familiar with this. To me, when I hear gun buyback, I hear that as voluntary. We'll buy your gun if you want to sell it, but you don't have to. But
Sure.
I feel like the way that you talk about it and other sort of pro-gun rights people talk about it, is that incorrect?
Well, so
Or did
here
it
is
start as voluntary and then.
Well, this is where the problem is just this article doesn't give you that much. You have to connect the dots. You need to know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I wanted to show the article, because right here, he kind of says that in the October 25. So there's in the interview, he's mentioning that the Carney government plans to move forward with the plan. Wow. Plans to move forward with the plan. Jesus. Hold on. Okay. It's Rob Ambrose that wrote the article.
I wrote that one. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. So the Carney government plans to move forward with the plan to buy back thousands of assault-style weapons that has been banned since 2020. And they kind of touch on it right here. So they're saying that Ottawa's effort to collect over 2,500 variant of banned guns from their owners. So basically, I just want to show you the numbers and then I'll explain what it actually means. But here is the program is expected to cost $742.5 million. And what's very funny about that is obviously that taxpayers' money. So people's money are gonna pay for buying back guns that were banned by the government. And this is where it's interesting, is saying that right here. So did not blah 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 blah, because we never know how much it's going to cost, right? Because firearms, if you don't know, firearms are stupid expensive.
Yeah.
I have some guns that are 5 to 10 grand a pop. So
Wow.
those guns, oh yeah. If you're buying quality, you're buying something that's renowned. Like if you're just looking at a Benelli shotgun, like a 12 gauge shotgun, Benelli semi-automatic, you're gonna pay a 3-4 grand US for them.
Wow.
But they're top of the line, right? I don't care about having hundreds of guns. I just want to have a few that are top of the line. But my competition, I had a Shadow SP01 Canadian edition. That was my handgun that I used in competition, and it's stainless. That was 2 grand or more 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I bought it. Today it's a limited edition gun, so it's probably 3-4 grand for one single handgun. That's no extra mag, that's no bullets, because bullets are a lot more expensive than guns in the long run. But what's interesting is that they're saying that it's going to cost over $742.5 million, which is almost $1 billion. And you know that it's going to cross that $1 billion because the government has never been able to stick to a budget. But what's interesting about this is, if we go back to what he was saying, he's saying that they plan to move forward with the plan to buy back thousands of assault-style weapons. It has banned since 2020. So they don't really tell you how much of them were banned, but I have the numbers. So it's estimated right now that the Trudeau government, since 2020, has banned more than 1,500 firearm models. So anywhere, the numbers I know of is 1,500. But yesterday I was researching, and it looks like it's more between 1,800 to 2,000 firearm models. So we're not talking variants. We're talking models, like specific guns that have been banned. The list is insane. I have the list somewhere, and it's just
each
like
model will probably have several variants or many variants. Right?
Variants, the estimate is between 9,000 to 20,000 variants that have been banned. So we're talking about, I had a gun that is a Tavor, Israeli made, semi-automatic bullpup, best gun I've ever had. That gun is fucking incredible. You can't buy it anymore in Canada because it was non-restricted. So the barrel was a certain length, but because it's a bullpup, I don't know if you know what a bullpup is, but instead of having the mechanism, the shooting mechanism, to be in the middle of a gun, like an AR-15, for example, like the mechanism is in the middle, the stock is at the end, the retractable stock is at the end.
The action with the bolt. And
exactly, like the mechanism, if you want, we'll call it the action, if you will, is mostly in the middle, which makes it forward heavy. Because your shoulder is very far away from the middle of the gun.
Yes. Yep.
Bullpup is a newer design. I think it was designed in the 90s.
It's close. But
basically, the action is in your shoulder. So the
sense.
barrel, I can have a 16-inch and 18-inch barrel, and it only sticks out maybe 2-3 inches because the action is so backwards that you can bring
you can probably hold that up a lot longer too, right?
One hand, but it was developed by the Israeli military, by the IDF, because they don't do a lot of long range, right? All of their attacks are in close combat and city situations, so they needed to be able to open doors. So a bullpup allows you to hold the weapon directly in your shoulder, open a door, and right back on the grip, right? So, but that gun alone, man, is probably worth 3, 5, 4, like 3, 4. I paid more than 3 grand, man, 10 years ago. I don't have it anymore. I got rid of it because I knew they were going to ban it, so I got rid of it before it got banned. But
that's crazy. Why they're spending so much time on legal gun owners, and this is not the problem.
But the thing to remember is that these were legally purchased firearms. When I purchased that gun, it was not illegal. I bought it the right way. I bought it from a dealer. It was like an arms dealer, obviously, not like a drug dealer. But I bought it from a reseller. I paid the way I'm supposed to pay it. I had my non-restricted license. It was totally legal. Then the Trudeau government made it illegal. So right now what they want to do, and what they did, is those 1,500 to 2,000 firearm models with the 9,000 to 20,000 variants, those guns have become banned. So you cannot take them out of your safe. You cannot shoot them. You cannot go to the gun range with it. And unlike other banned firearms that happened in the past, they could be grandfathered. So if my father, my uncle, my mom, whatever, has a gun that was banned, so let's say it was fully automatic, because at one point it was legal to own fully automatic, you can pass them down. You can grandfather them. So if you're somebody in your family, you're dying, you give it to them, they have their firearm license, they can just take it. They don't even allow for grandfather anymore. So they cut that. So basically, the guns that I have that are now considered banned will have to be given back to the government when I die. I can no longer keep, even if I'm not allowed to keep them to take them out of my safe, go to the shooting range with them. I bought them legally. They changed the classification because there's 3 classifications in Canada. For the people that don't know, you have your non-restricted, which is mostly barrels over 16 or 18 inch. I can't remember exactly, but it's at least, let's call it 18 inch to make sense. But the barrel needs to be a specific length. So it's normally shotguns. It's normally hunting rifles like a 308, for example. Handguns are all considered restricted. Now you can't even buy. I don't think you can buy them anymore. I think they've been completely outlawed, as in you can't buy them anymore. You can keep the ones that you have. You can still shoot them. They're not banned, but you can no longer purchase them. And so it's all about the barrel length. So you have your restricted firearm, like an AR-15 was restricted, meaning that you can't hunt with it. With an unrestricted gun, I could go and hunt, let's say, a deer. Technically with my AR-15, with my Tavor, because it was non-restricted, shot a 223. The caliber is big enough for me to go hunt with it. So I would have been able to go hunt with that. I would never do that because that is not what it's meant for. But I could have, because it was non-restricted. So that's why we say they're hunting rifles. The restricted ones, you were never able to take them out of your safe to go hunting with it. You had to go to the shooting range. Yeah. That's the only. So
there and back.
They call them sports shooting, right? So you needed to have, with your restricted license, which are 2 different licenses. Like your non-restricted is 1 license, then you have to pass another license to get restricted firearms. You could only go to the driving range and back. You could go sports shooting, as they call them, but you couldn't take them hunting. And then you had your bands that were always grandfathered. But now all those guns no longer are grandfathered. So that's what's the money's for. So basically right now, and it's interesting because in the article, they're basically saying that they plan to move forward with the plan to buy back thousands of assault style weapons it has banned since 2020. So they're basically telling us that they will go after the property of law-abiding citizens that purchased weapons legally just a few years ago. Now they're going to go after it. And I was making some calculations earlier because they were talking about the price. They're saying that they intend guns were collected. So just over 12,000 guns were collected from businesses, and approximately 22 millions were given in compensation for the first phase of buyback. I did a quick calculation. What is 22 millions divided by 12,000 guns? It's $1,800. All of my guns are worth more than that. I got guns, like I got a really nice refurbished 12 gauge shotgun over under that I did ski shooting with. That alone is probably, it's like from 1967, all nice wood, engraved. It's probably $4 or $5 grand, $6 grand. It's anywhere between $4 to $10 grand.
And they're going to give me $1,800. Well, it would have to be less than what it's worth, because if it wasn't, then people just buy them and then go and sell them back to the government.
But you can't buy them; they're not legal.
Oh, you can't buy them at all.
No. You cannot buy them at all. You cannot buy those guns anymore. They're banned. Oh, so there's no money to be made. So not only is it they're going after the property of legal owners, but they're not even giving them the price. Now, I'm not even going to touch on how illegal that is, how unconstitutional that is, how they're going after the rights of legal gun owners, yet they're not even going to give them what it's worth. Plus, are you really buying back my gun, considering you're using taxpayers' money in order to buy something, to buy back something I actually paid for? It's insane. It's just
that's crazy. And you know, I think went to my question earlier about, like, is this even are they forcing you, or is this optional?
They will. No, just that article right there makes it very clear that they're talking about the assault style weapons that they banned, and those are the 1,500 to 2,000 I'm talking about.
This makes sense to me. What Griffin says, like the first step is they offer to buy your gun, you give up
Yep.
your gun, volunteer.
100%.
Then those that don't,
Yep.
then they making it illegal. Yeah, so it's kind of like you had. Yeah, it's not really optional.
This is exactly what's going to happen. He's bang on. He's absolutely 100%.
That makes sense
right.
because when the way you talk about like a buyback, you sounded like it was like coming for your guns, and I didn't see it that way, but that makes more sense now that I understand.
No, but that's what it's gonna. No, but you don't understand.
Yeah,
did you reread what he just said?
No,
but that's what the first step is, to make it look like, because you know the sell point is going to be easy after. It's like, well, we offered to buy it back, and then they chose not to resell their guns that we made illegal, that we banned, so now we're just going to confiscate them.
Yeah. I mean, Derek said that is a good point. Look at what happened in Alberta during the fire there 3 years ago. We talked about this on the show a while back. RCMP busting the doors of evacuated restaurants or residents to confiscate their weapons. Well, it wasn't it was to protect them. It was to make sure that they evacuated. And then they're like, but while we were there, we found all these weapons. Yeah.
We wouldn't want somebody to come in and steal those firearms.
You mean like you?
While you're not
like
around?
You?
Yeah.
Like what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll end on this as the positive note. Joe Stradamus says down at Nashville. I had to find you on Facebook. Your older stuff is pretty good. Talking about his music. So yeah, no, I'll check that out too.
Oh boy, are you guys gonna go on a date now? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes, I think so.
A music date?
Well,
are they gonna have a jam session?
The chat was pretty heated there today, so I just wanted to highlight something nice. Yes. Yeah, well, all about the feels, right? I know how important that is to you.
That is exactly what my comment was about.
All about the feels. Yeah, Bumpy, good show, boys. Chat was insane. Yeah, no, it gets wild sometimes. You know, feel free to make use of any block buttons. Obviously, we're not going to police what you guys say down there, but just try to keep it in the spirit of the show that we're doing. Is all we'll say. Logan White, final comment. If your MP is conservative, you should demand the property rights, the right to bear arms, and the right to defend yourself. Even if they're liberal, you should demand that too. Those are all
but our conservatives don't have the balls to talk about that in Canada. This is not like, I haven't seen anything from Pierre Poilievre talking against the buyback yet. I haven't seen any conservative talk about it the way it should be addressed. So
yeah. I mean, to me, again, I'm not, I'm not quite as hard on the 2A stuff as you are, but I do believe we should have guns. They're tools that we should be able to defend ourselves. As I read more about this, that doesn't sound right to me. They're spending so much time on I forget where it was, but I saw a comment a few minutes ago was saying there was not been one crime committed with a gun to a registered user, which is like, why are you focusing on the legal gun owners? As you say regularly, you guys get, you're probably the safest group of individuals in society. Because
do you know that I have less right than a convicted pedophile?
Yeah, that's why
the RCMP can give me 24 hours notice to come to my house in order to check if I store my firearms properly, but they need to go to court and they need to get a judge to approve a warrant in order to go check out a convicted pedophile out of prison because they might have a kid. I have less fucking right than a pedophile because I own firearms in Canada. That's the fucking truth.
Yeah, and when you say the gun owners of Canada are the safest group, it's not because they own guns. It's because in order to own a gun, you have to go through so many background checks and stuff that
twice a day. Twice a day, my name is ran into 2 federal databases to make sure that I did not commit a crime that could prevent me from having firearms.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Yeah, just it completely, again, more of the same where we're just focusing our resources on the people that are not the problem.
Yeah, and Bumpy, and one thing, yes, Sylvie, I forgot to say it. I will be recording with David Creighton tonight at 7 p.m. We definitely are going to talk about this again. And I'm just going to finish with this because he's right. Bumpy Johnson, the CFO can strip you of your PAL, you're over a complaint of character. Such. Oh yeah. If you call the CFO, they're normally based per province. There's a CFO per province. If you call the CFO saying this guy is doing this, he has firearms, he's dangerous, you need to take his guns away, they're going to automatically come to my place. The first thing they're going to do is take my guns away until they figure out if I'm
he used the wrong pronouns. He misgendered me. Oh, got to take his gun away.
Yeah, that's it. Wild. Take his guns away. Yep.
Wild. All right, guys, we're going to put a pin in there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show today. You could have been anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be here with us. And we will always appreciate that. If you want to support the show, please remember to like and share the stream, or dislike it if you didn't like it. But give us one or the other. And if you really want to support the show, you can do so by becoming a member through YouTube for the low price of $2.99 per month. That will help support the show, help us to bring you this quality independent media content every day like we've been doing. Other than that, folks, have a great day, have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow.